All right, welcome back to another episode of Chip Theory. Uh, we're going to talk today about another key or another scale of the Phrygian mode, which is the third mode of our um, major scale. Here you can see we have our chips laid out in a certain manner. If you can't tell already, this note is going to be G sharp. This is going to be our key note for the scale we're talking about today. If this chip here is a G sharp, and we have a chromatic scale laid out across here from G sharp to G natural. We can go ahead and name these chips. G sharp A sharp B, here's C. Here you can see this is our group of two chips, C sharp, D, and D sharp. We have the E and the F. Of course, the E and the F do not have a blue chip between them. We have F sharp here and G. So if you can see the pattern, we have a blue, white, blue, white, white, blue, white, blue, white, white, blue, white. It's going to look like your piano keyboard if you were to like mask off the keys from G sharp to G. You're going to have black, white, black, white, white, black, white, black, white, white, black, white on your piano keyboard. Okay, so we're going to teach the mode today of G sharp Phrygian. Now, the way we can remember our Phrygian mode, it's very simple. It's a pattern of whole and half steps. Okay, I like to teach these modes in patterns because our everyone should know their major scale mode by now, as it's a whole, half, whole, half series of steps and half steps. Phrygian is very easy to remember if you know your Ionian or major mode because it's simply the major mode backwards. So whole, half, whole, half is major, and Phrygian is going to be half, whole, half, whole. And that is simply the major scale descending. So if we know our pattern going up, and we can say our pattern going down, then we know our Phrygian pattern going up. Okay, so Phrygian coming down is going to be your major scale pattern, whole, half, whole, half. And Phrygian going up is the major scale pattern coming down, half, whole, half, whole, and vice versa, if that makes any sense. So that is one easy way to remember our Phrygian mode pattern, okay? So no matter what note we start with, it's going to have that pattern. So that's the first thing I want you to remember is the pattern of half, whole, half, whole. The second thing I'd like you to figure out is what is the relative major key for our G sharp Phrygian mode. Now, if we remember the pattern, we can simply find the scale and count the number of sharps in the scale, or if we'd like to know before that, we can simply move our G sharp here down to the end, to the right, and we can count 4 half steps down from G sharp to find our relative major. Because it's the third mode of the major scale, it will be 4 half steps above its relative major. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and we find this note here. Okay? So if we count chromatically down, we have G sharp, G, F sharp, F, and this would be the E. So we know that our relative major from G sharp Phrygian is going to be from the E major scale, which the mode will be derived from. Since we know there are 12 half steps in a total octave, we know since the root of the major scale is 4 down, that it's going to be 8 half steps up from our G sharp in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, giving us a total of 12 half steps for the octave from G sharp to G sharp. Now, since we know now the major scale that it's derived from, we can determine our G sharp major scale in two ways, simply using the pattern of the major scale downwards, or playing the E major scale starting on G sharp. So here we're going to use the pattern We're going to have our half step here from G sharp to A, and then a whole step. We have these notes, another whole step, and another whole step, a half step. This is going to be our E, and then a whole step, and of course our final whole step is from the 7th degree back to the octave. You can see now that the major scale pattern becomes apparent and descending from the Phrygian mode. From here we have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, descending, going to the left, and going to the right we have half, whole, 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 half, whole, whole. This gives us our Phrygian modal scale. G sharp Phrygian. You can see now there are 4 blue chips, which are going to be the 4 black keys of E major. Okay, F, C, G, and D. Giving us the notes for our major scale. Particularly if we move these 2 notes down, we have an E major scale: E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. Now if we were to number these scale degrees, E would be 1, F sharp would be the 2nd note, G sharp is 3rd, A is 4, B is 5, C sharp is 6, and D sharp is 7. Okay, now we're going to move our root and our 2nd note back to where they belong for G sharp Phrygian. Now you can simply see we have the 3rd note, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7, or root E, and our 2nd note of F sharp. However, they've shifted positions now for the Phrygian mode. So now our notes belong, although they are relative to the E major scale, they're in a different position for Phrygian. So our first note here is going to give us the triad G sharp, B, and D sharp. Now we can simply remember this as a minor chord, and we can know that these are the 3rd, 5th, and 7th degrees of our relative major scale. However, it's on the 1st degree of Phrygian. 3, 5, 7. G sharp, B, D sharp. Our 2nd triad of G sharp Phrygian is going to be A, C sharp, E. This is a flat 2 because, before we do the triads, we can simply think of this as a G sharp major scale with these notes lowered. So G sharp major is a theoretical key because it has double sharps in it. I think it's like F double sharp and C double sharp, one or the other or both. But we've lowered an A sharp to A B sharp to B, a C sharp to C, and a D double sharp to D sharp, right? I'm sorry, F double sharp to F sharp. F double sharp to F sharp. Anyways, so our 2nd triad was a flat 2 and its major, A, C sharp, E. Again, this is the 4th, 6th, and root of our relative major. A, C sharp, E. Here's the 3rd triad, or flat 3, of G sharp Phrygian. And it's the 5, 7, 2 notes of E, B, D sharp, and F sharp, and that's major. Here's our 4th triad. It's going to be the 6th root 3 of E. It's going to be a minor 7, a minor triad. C sharp, E, and G sharp. C sharp minor. On our fifth triad, it's going to be diminished. D sharp, F sharp, A. Again, this is 7, 2, 4 of E. D sharp, F sharp, A. Our sixth triad is our relative major E, G sharp, and B, which is major. Root, third, fifth. And our seventh chord here is 2, 4, 6, F sharp, A, and C sharp. And that's minor, our flat 7 minor, F sharp minor. Those are going to be the triads of G sharp Phrygian. Again, the notes of our scale were G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, and F sharp, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2 of E major. Realizing these in the triads, we can build our seventh chords, which will help us play our chord progressions in a G sharp Phrygian mode by stacking the alternating scale degrees of these pitches like this. So our first chord, seventh chord, is going to be a minor 7 built on the 3, 5, 7, 2 of E major, G sharp, B, D sharp, and F sharp. G sharp, B, D sharp, and F sharp is 3, 5, 7, 2 of E major, right? It's simply the third chord of E major shifted to the first position of G sharp Phrygian. G sharp, B, D sharp, F sharp. Again, it's a minor 7 chord, so the quality has a 3, 4, 3 spacing. And if we remember, the third position of major chords has a 1 plus 2 between its minor thirds for the scale, given that we play that position as 1 plus 2s for our 3s if it's in a scale. So 1 plus 2s on the minor thirds here on the 3, 4, 3 spacing. All right, our flat 2 chord of Phrygian is going to be the A, C sharp, E, and G sharp, which is an A major 7. This is a major chord, and the flat 2 of Phrygian is always a major. So flat 2, major 7. It's important to remember the quality, a major 7, 4, 3, 4 spacing, using the notes 4, 6, root 3 of E, or A, C sharp, E, G sharp. Again, this minor third will have a 2 plus 1 interval between the 6 and the root. The 2 plus 1 here. Okay, the flat 3 is also major. However, it's going to be a dominant 7, B, D sharp, F sharp, and A. This is our dominant 7 chord. Lands on the 3 position in Phrygian mode, always. And it's still 5, 7, 2, 4 of E major, B, D sharp, F sharp, A. It's a 4, 3, 3 spaced dominant 7 chord with a 1 plus 2 spacing here and a 2 plus 1 here for its minor thirds. The flat 3, B dominant. Our 4 chord is still minor, C sharp, E, G sharp, and B. Simply C sharp minor 7, the 4th from G sharp, However, it's built from the 6th, root, 3rd, 5th of the relative major, being the 6th chord of relative major here on the 4th position of G sharp Phrygian. It's a minor 7, 3, 4, 3. Again, we remember that the 6 chords from major have a 2 plus 1 minor third here and a 1 plus 2 on the top one. So these 3, 4, 3 is different than this 3, 4, 3. And then it has a 2 plus 1 on the bottom and a 1 plus 2 on the top, whereas this one simply had 1 plus 2's on both. Okay, the 5th position is going to give us our half diminished 7 chord, a D sharp, F sharp, A, and C sharp. This is a 3, 3, 4 spacing because A to C sharp is 4 half steps, or a major third. So here we have D sharp, minor 7, flat 5, or D sharp half diminished on the 5th position. It's still a 7, 2, 4, 6 of E major as far as the scale degrees. 7, 2, 4, 6 is always a half diminished chord. However, here it lands on the 5th position of Phrygian, and it has a 1 plus 2 here and a 2 plus 1 here on its minor third intervals on the bottom, with a major third on top, A to C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, A, C sharp. Our 6th degree of G sharp Phrygian was the flat 6 relative major, E, G sharp, B, and D sharp. Again, this is a major 7 chord, very similar to the 2 chord here in Phrygian. The 6 and the 2 are the majors. So flat 6 and flat 2 are both major chords. The flat 3 was dominant. So this is going to be a relative major, E, G sharp, B, and D sharp. The only difference being that this major 7 has a 2 plus 1 interval here in the middle, and this major 7 has a 1 plus 2 for the scale degrees. So G sharp to B is going to be a 1 plus 2. G sharp to A is 1, and A to B is 2. Wherein C sharp to E is C sharp to D sharp is 2, and D sharp to E is 1. So 2 plus 1 here and 1 plus 2 here. For the flat 6 major 7, your flat 7 chord is minor. It's going to be F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. Okay, the 2, 4, 6 root of E major. Again, these minor thirds will have 2 plus 1 intervals between the F sharp and A, and between the C sharp and E. There's both 2 plus 1s with the major third between them. A minor 7 chord, 3, 4, and 3. Another thing I'd like to point out is that since there are 4 sharps in this key, you can see now that we have a total of 16 sharps and 12 white keys. So 16 black keys and 12 white keys for the entire key of G sharp Phrygian, given that each note of this key is used 4 times. So we had 7 notes here on the scale, and each of them is used 4 times. So you can see here the G sharp is used first time here. This note is G sharp as well. That's the second time it's used. This is G sharp here, and this is G sharp here. So you can see where each note is used 4 times. Right? A is here. A is also here. A is here. And A is here. So we can see now all the notes are used 4 times. I could point them out. It's a good practice to kind of know where they are. The 5 note of E, or B, is here, here, over here, and here on the 4 chord here, right? So it's easy enough to see that. Let's talk about the inversions of these chords now. Instead of scale degrees now, I'm going to focus more on the spacing of the qualities of the chords, now that we have an idea of the chord degrees from a relative major, scale degrees I mean. It's good to remember those, to have those in mind as you're playing G sharp Phrygian, so that you're kind of rooted in the key that the mode is derived from, okay? Here in our first chord, we had the G sharp minor 7, 3, 4, 3. If we invert this, we have a 4, 3, 2 inversion of a G sharp minor chord, which will start on the third of the chord, which is going to be B, right? B, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, 4, 3, 2 spacing. Again, our second inversion for minor 7 chords is always 3, 2, 3. Here we're starting on D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, B. Three, 2, 3 spacing, starting on G sharp. Or, I'm sorry, starting on D sharp. As we go our 4, 3, 2 spacing, or third inversion, starting on F sharp, G sharp, B, and D sharp. Coming down is D sharp, B, G sharp, F sharp, B, G sharp, F sharp, B sharp, G sharp, F sharp, D sharp, B, and F sharp, D sharp, B, and G sharp for G sharp minor 7 chord, and G sharp Phrygian. Our flat 2 here is a major 7. Again, it's a 4, 3, 4 spacing. A, C sharp, E, G sharp. To our 3, 4, 1 position, starting on C sharp to E, E to G sharp, and G sharp to A. The second version for major 7 chords is 4, 1, 4 spacing. The half steps, we have here our E, G sharp, A, and C sharp, to a 1, 4, 3, G sharp, A, C sharp, and E. Coming down is E, C sharp, A, G sharp, C sharp, A, G sharp, E, A, G sharp, E, C sharp, and G sharp, E, C sharp, A. Again, A is our 4th scale degree of E. Here it's on the flat 2 position of G sharp Phrygian. Our flat 3 is the B dominant 7. Again, dominant 7s have a different quality from major 7s and minor 7s. It's going to be the 4, 3, 3 spacing. B, D sharp, F sharp, and A. When we invert this, we also have a different spacing. This was our 3, 3, 2 for dominant 7s. Again, this is going to be 7, 2, 4, 5 from E major, D sharp, F sharp, A, and B, a 3-3-2 spacing. Here we have a 3-2-4 spacing starting on D sharp to A to B, and B to D sharp. Here we have the 2-4-3 for dominant sevens, or third inversion, 2-4-3, starting on A, B, D sharp, and F sharp. Coming down is F sharp, D sharp, B, A, D sharp, B, A, F sharp, B, A, F sharp, D sharp, and A, F sharp, D sharp, B. Alright, our fourth chord is a minor 7, was a C sharp minor 7, 3-4-3. When we invert this, we have a 4-3-2, starting on E, G sharp, B, C sharp, or 3-2-3, starting on G sharp, B, C sharp, E, to our 2-3-4, starting on B, C sharp, E, and G sharp. Coming down is G sharp, E, C sharp, B, E, C sharp, B, G sharp, C sharp, B, G sharp, E, and B, G sharp, E, C sharp. For our fourth chord, our minor 7 of G sharp, Phrygian. Our 5 chord was a half diminished 7, D sharp, F sharp, A, C sharp. Again, half diminished 7s have a 3-3-4 spacing. When we invert this, we have the 3-4-2 starting on F sharp, A, C sharp, D sharp, to our 4-2-3 spacing starting on A, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, to a 2-3-3 spacing for half diminished starting on C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, A. Coming down is A, F sharp, C sharp, D sharp, A, F sharp, D sharp, C sharp, F sharp, D sharp, C sharp, A, D sharp, C sharp, A, F sharp, and C sharp, A, F sharp, D sharp. Our flat 6 was our major 7, or a relative major of E major. It's a 4-3-4, starting on E, G sharp, B, D sharp, to a 3-4-1, starting on G sharp, B, D sharp, E, to our 4-1-4 inversion, starting on B, D sharp, E, G sharp, to a 1-4-3, starting on D sharp, E, G sharp, and B. Coming down is B, G sharp, E, D sharp, G sharp, E, D sharp, B, E, D sharp, B, G sharp, and D sharp, B, G sharp, and E. Finally, our 7th chord, our flat 7, is a minor 7, F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. It's a 3-4-3 spacing. Move our F sharp to the top. We have a 4-3-2 starting on A, C sharp, E, F sharp, to a 3-2-3 starting on C sharp, E, F sharp, A, to a 2-3-4 starting on E, F sharp, A, C sharp. Coming down is C sharp, A, F sharp, E, A, F sharp, E, C sharp, F sharp, E, C sharp, A, and E, C sharp, A, F sharp back in root position. So here we have the 7 chords of our G sharp Phrygian mode. Again, it was a G sharp minor 7, a flat 2, A major 7, a flat 3, B dominant 7, a 4, C sharp minor 7, a 5, D sharp half diminished, a flat 6, E major 7, and a flat 7, F sharp minor 7. That's going to be your key of G sharp Phrygian mode.